the only show that's 3 dimensions away from the multiverse being of madness. I'm your host, 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was Sam Raimi's film, Sam Raimi, of course, who directed the Spider-Man trilogy, and of course, my favorite trilogy, the Evil Dead trilogy, and of course, other things such as Darkman and such forth. This movie is essentially a sequel to the Scott Derrickson 2016 Doctor Strange movie, and so I really love this movie for so many reasons. I really love that it stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Exo Gomez as America Chavez, Benedict Wong, and Patrick Stewart, and such forth. And I will say this: the movie itself is, even though it's a sequel, it actually could be its own film. It stands on its own feet. And so I really love this movie. Like, I went in this movie, I was like, when they announced, I was like, I'll see it, but I'm not going to be over thrilled. I actually, from the beginning this movie started to the end, I was just like that. I was like, I'm so in this movie. Like, I literally, a lot of people have been hyping this movie up because there has been rumors of cameos, lots of cameos. A lot of people were comparing this movie like Secret Wars or Crisis on Infinite Earths. This movie, I want to talk about the negatives of this movie, but the positives. The movie itself does a good job at telling the story from the story structure of A, B, and C. Like, the villain of the movie, of course, is, spoilers if you haven't seen it, Scarlet Witch, Wanda. So, basically, the whole movie is, them trying to escape Wanda from, go to this place, and then they go to this location because she's so powerful that she could basically kill her whenever she gets a hold of her. And so that's what the idea of this movie is. And Doctor Strange kind of questions, in a very Sam Raimi-esque way, he says, am I happy? And that's like a running theme to the movie is, am I happy? And so, and apparently it also deals with, in his dreams, he's actually dreaming of another version. When you dream, another version of yourself is happening in the multiverse. So, and it does deal with the multiverse in a way, but not as a way people were hoping, like in Spider-Man No Way Home, where there's 1,000 other Stranges, and, there are more Stranges and stuff. It's not like multiverse. It's not like No Way Home. This is more structured in a more grounded version of No Way Home that people thought No Way Home was going to be, where it's just Doctor Strange and fighting past villains. No, this one's actually Doctor Strange, and you see, obviously the villain, is, of course, Wanda, but you also see, who is a guy who they tease at the villain, who Chiwetel Ejiofor plays, Baron Mordo, is it Baron Mondo? You see him play that villain, but he's from a different universe, and this one I kind of hate Strange too. It's just like the one in his universe, only this one has long hair, and he is essentially he kind of is not there yet fully evil, but he's on his way to being there. And so I do like that the performance. I thought everyone was strongly acted, and I do like the Illuminati in the movie. I know that's the biggest selling point a lot of people talk about is the Illuminati. I'm gonna talk about that, but I do like that it wasn't overly shadowed in the movie. I do think that it was just where it needed to be and it moved on. It's Doctor Strange. It's not called the Illuminati of Madness. I think some people took that as oh, it's the Illuminati, so obviously they're going to be here the whole rest of the movie. Like Andrew and Toby who did in No Way Home. Nope, that's not the case. It's just there for to do some exposition and explain, and then they're there to establish what's happening in the multiverse, and then they of course bite the dust when Wanda shows up. And I do like that. I do like that they're not overdragging and overshadowing the movie. I do like that there's other stuff, there's What If Strange, and there's Supreme Strange, and then there's Our Strange, and I do like all this stuff. And then there's, there's Earth, I believe, the Illuminati Strange, where he died off screen before Our Strange got there. And there is some stuff that I like about, I like how it explains the themes of, Sam Raimi does his best, where he's the idea is Strange happy? I like that idea, and I like the Illuminati stuff, and I also like America Chavez. I thought she was great in the movie. I like how she just multiverse hops and everything, and it's kind of it's a kid that doesn't have their power yet fully established, and I really, really like that. I also really like Wanda. Wanda's a compelling man because all she's I don't want to kill people, I don't want to hurt people. I just want, the only person that's going to die is America Chavez. I'm going to take her powers, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to bring her back. I'm going to go to a universe, kill that Wanda, and I'm going to be with my children. That's what I'm going to do. She's only 2 people have to die. And you know what? And it pisses her off. That's like, why are you keeping? Just give me my child. I won't want to kill you. I don't want to kill you. Just give me my child. Just give me her. Let me kill her so I could go kill my Wanda self, and then I can be with my children. And they just will not let her have that. And she's like, all right, fine. Well, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill everybody around me because guess what? You want me to make me a monster? There I am. I'm your monster. And I like that idea of it. It's like, it's kind of like a Thanos. Like Thanos just like, look, I don't want to kill anybody. I have to wipe out half the population for the rest of us to survive. So if this many people have to die, then so be it. And Wanda, she's like, half these people have to die. Okay, so be it. And I really like that. I think that's a really unique aspect of it. And I'm a big fan of Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. And she also said in an interview a while back that she really wanted to do something like this. And I thought it was interesting. I watched the whole interview. And I also do really like that, I thought Benedict played several different Stranges, and I really like his Stranges, and I thought they were really clever. Each one of them was unique. And I also really like Benedict Wong, even though for a couple times you almost thought, oh, did he bite the dust? Did he bite the dust? No, he didn't. It got scary a couple times for Wong. I was like, come on, Wong! And then, of course, there are some horror movie elements in the movie, but I'm like, it's not really like a horror movie. I think people are over being dramatic, because I watched the whole movie and I'm like, where is the horror? Some parts I was like, I mean, I can see some violence in the movie, but like, horror? I'm like, really? Like, people are like, oh, I would not take my kids to see this movie, and I'm like, really? I'm like, I would take my kids to this movie. It's not that scary. Hell, I saw little kids in the movie, and I'm like, I'm like, it's not that scary. I mean, but then again, I grew up with this stuff, so I'm fine with it. But then I'm like, I watched the movie, and I'm like, I'm not scary. And I even asked the little kid afterwards, was it scary to you? And she goes, no. And this look I did not mean at all. I was just literally random by, and I was like, and her and dad were talking to him, and I asked her, was that movie scary? And her and dad both said nope. And I was just like, I just didn't find it scary at all. I was waiting for like a Conjuring moment or a moment from Insidious where I was like, ooh, I'm waiting for this big scare. And I'm like, there really was none. I was like, what the hell were they talking about? Was there a cut they saw that I didn't? Because I'm like, and I think some people are just being over dramatic because they're not expecting which Kevin Feige did say he wanted to make the first Marvel horror film, and so that makes sense. But at the same time, I just feel like that they failed because I'm like, this wasn't really scary, and also. I just feel like, and also some people were kind of upset about that, and there was some negative reviews about that. And also, I want to talk about this, okay? Big elephant in the room. Some people, especially some scoopers, let's say, some scoopers that have somewhat of a track record, have said in the scooping game that, oh, Tom Cruise is going to be Iron Man in this movie, or, Ghost Rider or Daredevil or even, Deadpool is going to be in this movie. And, oh, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's going to be in this movie. And, oh, also, and it's going to have, big cameos of different people and all this stuff. And so people were going in there with this big, because No Way Home, people have been saying, oh, Andrew and Tobey are going to appear. Andrew and Tobey are going to appear. So when they saw that and they were right, they're like, oh my God. And then those same people are going, well, guess what? Now that Andrew and Tobey appeared, guess what? Multiverse of Madness is going to be even bigger with cameos. And people are like, oh my God. Like which the only two they actually got right was Mr. Professor X and Mr. Fantastic, which I will say, John Krasinski, Jim from The Office, which The Office is my guilty show. I love watching that. I am such a huge fan of The Office. Guilty pleasure. I mean, even not guilty pleasure as in it's so bad it's good. Just I love watching that show. I could watch it anytime. And I love John Krasinski as the director of the Quiet Place movies and acting in it. It was so good. I cannot wait to see if he does do Fantastic Four. If he does, I will be happy. If not, I will be kind of bummed. But I mean, at the same time, it's up to him if he wants to do it. At the end of the day, and it's in his court. And, I'm sure Feige will say look, you want to do it? Do it. Not okay. We'll find someone else. Which. I hope you do, man, because I love to see you back as Reed Richards. That'd be awesome. And I think that, it would kind of, everyone in the theater when I was in it was cheering and applauding when he showed up. People were like, oh my God, it's finally happening. And I'm like, when he dies, everybody went, boo! this sucks. And I was like, I started laughing when I heard that. And Professor Xavier showed up, and I love that they played the X-Men theme when he showed up, the animated X-Men theme. I was like, oh, this is getting good. I mean, also he might appear in the future too, but I mean, I don't know. I'm feeling different about that, but I do like that all the cameos, like Black Bolt from the Inhumans, which is played by the same guy who played him in Black Bolt in the Inhumans TV show, and we have Captain Marvel, who's this time is played by Maria Rambeau, and also you have you have Professor Xavier, Captain Carter from What If. I actually loved her in What If, and I was hoping to see her again in What If, and I'm so glad. I'm glad. I mean, this show the Illuminati was not a letdown to me. I know some people are like, oh, Tom Cruise is Iron Man, Tom Cruise, and I'm like, Tom Cruise. They even confirmed, the writer said Tom Cruise was never meant to be an Iron Man. This movie, they were thinking about it, and I guess someone took that and ran with it as a story. It's not true. Tom Cruise was never meant to be Iron Man. They thought about it, but then they're like, he would never do it, mainly because he's busy doing other things. But they did think about it, but no, he was never meant to be in the movie. He never shot anything, never when I was on set, never even was contacted. But I will say, I do think John Krasinski did a great job in Kim, which I understand they're all dead, but those are just versions of themselves. And I know some people say, well, if they die in this one, but no one dies, are there really real stakes? That's another big question that people have been asking: was the stakes really even high if everyone dies at the end, and it doesn't really matter? Yes and no. I mean, yes, because you know that this villain, Wanda, dies at the end. She does not come back at the end. She dies. And she realizes that she is the monster that she's been chasing after. Like, her kids actually, American Shadow shows her a dimension where she wants to go to, and her kids fear her. And she sees herself as a monster, to where she's like, I am the monster that I thought, she thinks of everybody else as a monster, where she's the monster. And then she realizes she has to die because she swore. It's kind of like it's kind of like I'm trying not to quote Star Wars, but she's become the very thing she swore to destroy. And sorry, I had to quote that line. Revenge of the Sith. I'm sorry. It's been a long month of Star Wars. I'm sorry. And so basically, and there are also some stuff, and I know a lot of people were expecting it to be bigger. And bigger, and they were expecting more stakes, and they were expecting it to be like, a lot of people I heard were expecting it to be just Wanda and Strange hopping in multiverse dimensions into different cameos and Wanda chasing after them. And then some people even said the trailer was mismarketed, which I don't think the trailer was mismarketed. I think there's a difference between mismarketed trailers and misleading trailers. Misleading trailers are like something that they want, like The Walking Dead does, where they don't want to show you what's really happening this season, so then they put a trailer and shake the trailer up to where it's like, it's kind of giving you still the same plot, only it's like not showing you who the bad guys are and who the good guys are, who's gonna die, and that's kind of what they did here. And so they're just not trying to tell you the whole story. They're trying to keep you entertained. Like, everybody thought Supreme Strength was gonna, or What If Strength was gonna be the big baddie of that giant eyeball. That was going to be the big baddies of the movie, and they're like, no, that wasn't the baddie. Wanda was. And I think by the second trailer, people kind of realized it is Wanda that was going to be the villain. And I really liked this movie. I really did. I thought Scarlet Witch was great. I will say, I did get some X-Men The Last Stand vibes, where, because it's like, it kind of, Wanda felt like, the Jean Grey, the Dark Phoenix. And at the end, how she dies, I'm just like, this kind of reminds me of X-Men The Last Stand. And I understand some people left a bad taste in their mouth, which is also ironic that Professor Xavier's in this movie and he dies again. That's even more ironic. But yeah, I will say this did leave some bad taste in some people's mouths. I actually enjoyed it. I really thought, I did not like the fact that, Vision was not in it, because I'm like, Vision's still out there, White Vision's still out there. And, why wouldn't she just go to another dimension where that Wanda died and she had a kid? I mean, was Wanda alive in every dimension? They never explained that, and just that. And also the fact is that, also some people were upset with the post-credit scene where Bruce Campbell just stops punching himself and then he looks at the camera. That's so Sam Raimi. I thought it was stupid too. But I laughed at it because it's Sam Raimi. I mean, he has that humor, and they didn't have another post-credit scene, so they're like, yeah, let's do this. Bruce Campbell stops punching himself. And at the end of the day, it's a fun movie, popcorn flick that, if you're either going to like it, you're not going to like it. And there's going to be another Doctor Strange movie, and there's going to be other stuff. You're going to see Strange, and Wanda's not dead for sure. She's going to come back because it's comic books, and no one really dies in comics. If I had to give this movie a grade, I would give it a solid B+. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been my review, and now I'm going to go play some Evil Dead.